Dear student, today we will discuss DNA is hereditary material. So we'll be discussing here the experimental proof how DNA came to known as hereditary material. So mainly contribution of these groups of scientists. Frederick Griffith, he performed the classical experiment in 1928, and he said that genetic factor is a transforming factor. Oswald Avery, Colin MacLeod and McCarthy in 1944, they wanted to find out what is the transforming factor. Alfred Hersey and Maratha Chase in 1952, they said that DNA is a genetic factor and hereditary material of the cell. So first we'll start with the Griffith experiment. So let me brief you something. Griffith was the one who was working with the influenza and that time, and he wanted to identify, or he wanted to find out, or he was searching for the vaccine of influenza. And so he was working with the culture of Streptococcus pneumoniae, and while he was working, his findings are known as Griffith experiment, because he discovered transforming principle while doing this experiment. So let's discuss briefly what he was working with and how it helped to discover the transforming principle. He worked with the Streptococcus pneumoniae, which causes pneumonia, and there were two strains of Streptococcus, smooth and rough. Now the smooth is called S strain, and this strain, when you grow these bacteria on agar, they form the smooth colonies. So it is why, because they are capable of making capsule is actually made up of polysaccharide over the cell wall. So all those organisms, all those bacteria which has a capsule, they can protect themselves from any kind of immune attacks, immune response attacks. So usually they are succeeded in establishing the infection. So that's why the smooth one is the virulent strain, or we can say pathogenic strain, and once it enters the body, it causes pneumonia. Then rough, since they do not form any capsule, absence of capsule is there, so they are non-virulent, non-pathogenic, and they do not cause pneumonia. So again, subtypes or variants of smooth are represented as S1, S2, S3. Similarly for rough, S1, S2 and S3. All these represent the rough, you can say, strains of Streptococcus pneumoniae. Now when there is mutation in smooth, okay, then the mutation causes the smooth to change into the rough type. Okay. Now the Griffith performed experiment in 4 sets, in which smooth and rough strains were introduced in mice, and then they were checked if the mice suffer from pneumonia or not. Let's look at the experiment. So in the first experiment, what he has done, he took the live smooth cells of bacteria and they were injected to mice. Okay, the mice developed pneumonia because they were virulent. So observation was it developed pneumonia and the mice died. So what was the inference he made from this experiment? That S3 is the virulent strain. Second, if you see, he took live R2 cells, injected in the mice. Since it is avirulent, so no disease developed, mice is healthy, so inference is R2 is avirulent. Next, what he did, he took heat killed S3. S3 were virulent, but when they were treated with heat, they lost the capacity of virulence, and then they were injected into mice. No disease developed, mice is healthy. That means heat killed S3 is avirulent. Now next what he did, he took heat killed S3 and R2. R2 are already avirulent, heat killed S3 are also avirulent. So combination of both, when he introduced in the mice, he found, his observation was that the mice developed pneumonia and died. Okay, where what was predicted that it will not die. So what he did, he studied further this particular case, and the blood from the dead mice showed the presence of, so he took out the blood from this mice which was killed, and he found that there are live S3 bacteria. Okay, so what was the inference? The S3 introduced changes in R2 so that R2 now become virulent and R2 changes to S3. So S3 over here are already heat killed, but the R2 are converted into S3 by some principle, some factor or some transforming principle. So what was his conclusion? His conclusion is that there was some factor from S3 heat killed cell that has entered R2 cell and transformed R2 to S3, as S2 is now able to synthesize polysaccharide for capsule formation over cell wall. He ended up his experiment by making remark on transforming principle. Now next is McLeod, Avery and McCarty. So since this he was unable to identify, Griffith was unable to identify what was the transforming principle. So actually they wanted to find out what is this transforming principle. So their experiment, when they started experiment, was the biochemical characterization of transforming principle. So they studied the isolated component of heat killed S cells obtained in the Griffith experiment, and then they did the experiment. In the experiment they prepared heat killed S3, since this was there with the Griffith culture, from which lipid and carbohydrate is removed. So how you can remove? You take the S3 cell, give them heat treatment, they are killed. Now put them in the test tube in appropriate buffer, and then you add certain enzymes which degrade the carbohydrate, especially the capsule portion, and lipid portion, that is the membrane portion. Okay, now what will happen? The cell will lyse and its all content will be released. The culture was treated with various enzymes to remove RNA, DNA and protein, and then transformation was checked for live R3. So here what we are making, the preparation from S3 with the treatment of various enzyme, and then we wanted to check which component of S3 is used in the transformation of R2. So R2 were taken live. Okay, so let's see different set. They also put up the experiment. First set, they took heat killed S3 cells, S3 culture, okay, and added RNAs, so it will degrade the RNA present in the culture, and live R2 cells. Okay, now actually first this is done. Okay, once this is done, then to this R2 is added. Okay, so here RNAs will not have effect on R2 cells. Okay, now what was the observation here? The transformation occurs, the whatever factor is there in S3 that is capable of transforming R2 into S3. Okay, and how that is checked? That is checked by the injection to mice and recovering those cells. Every time this is done, as done by the Griffith. In the second, so inference is the DNA is intact. Okay, second, heat killed S3 culture was added with the protease, so it will digest the protein part of S3, and then live R cells are added. So again in this case also transformation occurred because DNA is intact. Here in a third case, heat killed S3 culture was added to DNAs. So DNAs will destroy the DNA of S3. Now since DNA is actually the transforming principle, so here the R2 there is no transformation of R2 to S2, so DNA as the DNA is degraded. Okay, so what was the conclusion? The absence of DNA due to degradation, there is no transformation, but transformation occur in absence of protein and RNA. In short, we can say it is DNA which is responsible for transformation and not the protein and RNA. We'll continue Hersey and Chase in part 2. Thank you.